sitting here talking to you now, I could have been in Barbados. You can hold off ageing, but you just can't stop it. Everything points to the fact that you're still going to be here spending that money.
It does, yeah.
Changing the way you spend, yeah, I'll help you.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
I'll definitely help you spend.
And he should have gone 2-3 years ago. And the only reason he stayed is because he's using his kiss as a reason.
As soon as we can retire.
What is that?
Hi, we're Retirement Dreams to Reality. I'm Keely, this is Bruce. And today's video we're going to talk about our fears for the future, our fears regarding retirement. If we assume that our fears are going to be different, then I'll talk about one of mine, Bruce will talk about one of his, we'll do it that way. So my first fear is that we will die without zero. So when we die, we'll still have loads of money left. Now, why is that a fear? For me, that means that we left it too late. If we die and we've still got loads of money left, then we've left it too late. We could have retired however many years earlier. The biggest problem is measuring exactly when you can retire to make your money last until the end, but also so that you've not got loads of money left over. That's for me. So my biggest fear is we end up with loads of money left at the end, so therefore, rather than sitting here talking to you now, I could have been in Barbados. That's one of my very first fear.
Okay.
What's your first fear?
Do
you have any fears similar to that?
So mine's kind of the opposite of that, my first one.
Right, okay.
So my biggest fear is running out of money and having to go back to work. So your first fear was, I mean, these aren't in any particular order for me.
No, they're not for me.
They're not
no,
for you, are they?
No.
So your biggest fear is like having money left over.
Loads
so we
left
didn't
over, yeah.
retire early, and we didn't do lots of stuff that we should have done and could have done, and we didn't do lots of stuff that we should have done and could have done.
Yeah.
Whereas my biggest fear that we retire too early and we run out of money.
Well, the thing is, these Monte Carlo simulators that you do, if you are going to run out of money, then you do them again. On loads of these simulators that they do, they have to do the worst case scenario, the middle, the average scenario, and the best case scenario. Well, if the worst case scenario says you run out of money, then you go back and do it again. But if they end up in the best case scenario, they could end up with loads of money. That's what these simulators do.
Say, for example, the stock market crashes massive, 50%.
The scenario runs all of these factors.
Right.
So it runs the worst case factor. This video is a really good representation of our opposing views.
For me, the only reason we're going to go see the financial planner is to just check over our numbers. It's not to run the Monte Carlo simulation. I think it's pointless for us. I think it's the reason for us to go and see the financial planner is to sit there and go, look over our numbers and go, okay, yeah, I understand what's going on. Yeah, you seem to have your stuff in place. Just so you know, this could happen. Okay, brilliant. These are kind of tax things that you could do so we get some value that way. These are ways that you could basically save a little bit more and make a bit more money. But other than that, you look like you've got a good plan.
Mine was, we'll die with loads of money left. Yours was that we'll run out of money and have to go back to work. That's never going to happen. If we finish today, the chances of you having to go back to work are slim, I think. The second one is that because we'll leave retirement late, we won't be fit enough to travel. So health is a real fear for me. I know so many people who have been really healthy until their early 70s. You can hold off ageing, but you just can't stop it.
Yeah, that's my number 2 as well, really. So I put finally retiring, but then too late. So getting some sort of illness. Yeah.
That leads directly onto my number 3, rather than not being fit enough to travel.
Yeah.
So mine was being fit, rather than getting an illness, not being fit enough to travel.
Yeah, see, I'm not particularly worried about that because I know my fitness is very much embedded.
See, that I think that's a sort of key, that fitness is going to delay ageing. But fitness is not going to stop ageing. And those people that I talk about who are in their 70s have been fit all of their lives. They have been fit.
I think going to the gym on a Saturday once a week consistently is not enough. So I do worry that your priority is very much travel and retirement, but your priority is not health and fitness. It's not something that's already part of your practice. I don't think it's something that you can pick up, because it's hard going to the gym. It's hard being consistently in some sort of pain, because it is kind of pain. It shouldn't be bad pain, but it's hard coming in having aches and pains from going to the gym and thinking, wait a minute, I'm retired. Why am I putting myself through this?
Oh, because you want to carry on travelling and being fit.
But people don't see that. People don't see cause and effect. So yeah, my biggest thing is that Keely thinks I think I'm bionic man and I'm going to live forever. And that's not true. My biggest fear is that there'll be something out of my control, like a really bad illness or some sort of cancer or something like that, because again, there's nothing I can do about them.
Yeah, my third thing was illness.
Right.
Obviously, Mum's got dementia. That we'll get, I obviously mean me, get dementia, and all our money that we've saved up, really, we've done everything that we've done with it, invested it, done everything, will just be spent on care. My mum was pretty fit for her age. She lived in a second floor flat. She's never been overweight. We never had a chip pan in our house. We always ate brown bread. She drank a little bit. But my mum generally, compared to where she sits in her family, was the fittest in her family.
The accident fueled our change in the way we look at life, and also Keely's mum getting dementia has fueled our whole push to retire early.
Yeah, massively. You've got a good genetic path.
Yeah.
You've got a better genetic path than I have.
And the fact that I'm younger than Keely as well.
Yeah.
Is really kind of.
Everything points to the fact that you're still going to be here spending that money.
It does, yeah. I mean, and ironically, the reason that I can retire earlier as well is because you're older. Right, so my number 3 was changing the way in which I spend. So, as we've talked about previously, I'm very much a saver, very much got to change the way in which I look at money. So I won't be able to save because we'll be using that money to live off.
Yeah, we're not saving when we're retired.
No, there's no point.
We have literally had a joint account that all our bills and everything come out of, that we both put money into, but then the rest of the money has been separate. We've had our own money. That's not going to be the case in retirement. So how are we going to manage that? How are we going to... So I think we've said we're going to give each other a bit of pocket money. One of my biggest issues is going to be clothing and fashion. Because it's always been quite important to me. Well, it's not cheap, but also we're travelling. I can't have 180 pair of shoes, which I had pre-brain injury. So I'm going to have to really think about that. I'm really going to have to think about downsizing and prioritising. Although I have been told by a lot of people, when you don't work, your need for clothes is very different.
I suppose it's because of exposure, isn't it? It's who you again this week you've very much been quite positive about the positive things people have said about the way you've looked.
Yeah.
And that's made a real difference to you.
I've been told by about 4 or 5 people how much they loved my dress and how fabulous I looked this week.
And that's made a real difference.
And that really made me feel good.
But then when we were in Beverley, you wore slops and everything else, and you would basically, I'm a changed person. This is going to be the new Keely. I'm just going to walk around and slops, and I don't really care and think you're fighting.
But I was happy in Beverley.
I think you're going to constantly fight. You like being a bit glam.
Yes.
You're getting nice positive comments from people.
Changing the way you spend, yeah, I'll help you.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
I'll definitely help you spend. But if we're doing our budgeting and something costs £242, if we need the money, I'll say it's only 240, and Bruce will say it's 250.
Well, one of the things also is the fact that you've hidden things from me in the past.
Oh, I have, yeah.
Just so we would do things. Like we went to ski in Italy, and I thought, you told me how much it was, and I was like, oh, that was quite reasonable. That's not too bad. And then it turns out actually it was a lot more than I thought it was. I
used to tell Bruce that things were half price. So if the skiing holiday was nearly £5,000, I knew Bruce would say, we're not paying that. So, and at that point we've got our own separate money. So that skiing holiday that cost £5,000, I would have paid £3,500 for it, and Bruce would have paid 1.5, thinking he was paying more than his share. Number 4 has nothing to do with finances. One of my big fears is that I will miss my loved ones too much. So I am very, very close to my two sisters, and it is a bit of a worry that when we're going somewhere for 3 months at a time and then going to another place for 3 months at a time. So, for example, we're not in England for 4 or 5 months at a time, that I will really miss my sisters. And I don't want that to impact on what we are doing. I don't want our plans to have to change because I miss home. I won't miss a place, I'll miss the people. The only thing that makes me think that maybe I'll be okay with that is that I only see Lewis twice a year. I'm really close to my son. Like most parents on here, I love my son more than the world, but I only see him twice a year, and I'm okay with that. I miss him, but I'm okay with that. So the thing about missing family is a worry, but I hope we can work around it, really.
So my number 4 is 1 more year. So I used to work with a guy that every year it would be 1 more year. His 2 younger kids are just going to university, and that is expensive. But he could have easily retired if this year and the last couple of years. And my biggest worry is as well with that 1 more year, he's currently off work. And he should have gone 2-3 years ago. And the only reason he stayed is because he's using his kids as a reason. And you can't, that's not fair on his kids.
Is there anything that you think will stop you doing 1 more year?
I think again it'd be like if the stock market crashes, if it goes 50%, that would make me pause for thought. But if we follow our plan properly and we'd use the bucket system that they're very much looking into, that shouldn't be an issue.
I won't let you go 1 more year.
Oh, well, I know it's difficult.
It's as simple as that.
It's just a year doesn't seem like a long time, does it, when you're retiring forever?
I'm not I would love to just sack it all off and retire at 55. I can't. Because of the age gap, if I retired at 55, you would only be 47.
Yeah.
So there's no way that's happening. But that means there is no way. Once I get to 60, I'm not working another day. I'm doing it before that. But I need you to be doing these things with me. So I'm not going to let you go 1 more year. I'm going to have to say, look, unless you want to be here on your own 6 months, I'm off.
I mean, of all the things, it's probably the least likely. I mean, the scary thing for me is that every time I talk to Keely, it's like, 9 more years. When we first started this whole talk, so 9 more years, and I'm like, okay, 9 years. I can do 9 years. That's nothing. That's absolutely amazing. And my original plan was 55. 9 more years. Let's do it. That's 55. And then it's like, no, we've looked into stuff and I've done my calculations, and actually, no, six more years. 6 more years. You just need to do 6 more years, and then we can retire and we're all good. And I'm like, okay, right, well, that's even better for me. 6 years, great, I can deal with that. That gives me 6 more years of pension, 6 more years of paying into this, 6 more years of investments growing, perfect. And now it's going down to 4 years and 4.5 years.
Depending on what happens to finances.
Yeah.
Depending on what happens to the stock market, depending on lots of factors, you might possibly go 5 or 6.
Yeah.
But if I have my way, if everything goes our way and we carry on how we're supposed to be going, then we're both gone in for.
For me, the 1 more year means that if I just can't retire.
I don't think we are those people.
No, I don't think we are.
So don't know many people who know their numbers like we know them.
No, like you said, your sister doesn't even talk about retirement.
No, she doesn't.
Because it's not even on her radar.
My final one, you've sort of touched on a little bit in terms of 1 more year, with some huge financial catastrophe, either the year that we are due to retire or when we're in the very, very early stages of retirement, so like year 2 or 3. Now, if there's a huge financial catastrophe when we're in years 6 and 7 of retirement, that's not... I'm already getting state pension by then. I'm already getting my teacher's pension by then. You've already got access to your teacher's pension by then. So all of our private stuff that we're doing, all of our SIPs and ISAs and things, we won't be as reliant on them at all. So it won't matter. It will matter, but we'll just, we'll what's it called? Pull in the reins. We'll do something and we'll manage with what we've got. But if in the year we're due to retire, or the year before we're due to retire, or a couple of years when we're retired, if the stock market falls by 50%, for example, that would be a worry. That would be a worry. But we can't hold everything off. with the chance of some once in a lifetime catastrophe to happen.
Follow the plan and we do the buckets. That shouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be an issue at all.
Yeah, so we should have plans in place.
Yeah, we aren't literally going to retire and then on the day we start pulling from the stock market. We should have already had a pot of cash ready in case that does happen.
Yeah. Good point.
So yeah, my biggest fear is being bored in retirement. So we started this YouTube journey as something kind of to do and a kind of future thing that we want to keep going, and we kind of want to document our journey to retirement. I think probably I would need something to focus on, and I think doing some videos and doing some editing would be enough. So again, I think there's enough about us that we'll find something to do, but I do think that you can't just retire. I don't think you can just retire, and like you say, you'll probably disagree with this, but I don't think you can retire and just think, I'm just going to be on a beach and have a coffee. You've always said that.
I might be on a beach listening to Duolingo and improving my Spanish.
This is what I mean. So I think you'll need social interaction more than I'll need it.
Yeah.
So
but I am also, I do like being on my own.
Yeah, you are good on your own, and I've got better at that. But yeah.
I genuinely think that we have got enough in our lives to fill them up without taking on new projects and new ideas. I don't think you will get bored, and I think if you start to get bored, you will find something useful to fill it with.
I think we will.
I've never been bored.
But a lot of these YouTubers and a lot of these these podcasters are saying, look, retirement, you shouldn't use the word retirement. You should be financially independent, so therefore you can work on your terms, which I understand. You can work on your terms.
I'll be working on my tan.
Well, yeah, this is it.
Not working on my terms, working on my tan.
Yeah.
So those are our fears for our retirement. Hopefully, all of the planning, everything that we're doing now, running up to it, our journey to retirement, will alleviate most of those fears, and will make sure that anything that we can control, we will. In
the comments below, you want to put what your retirement fears are.
Yes.
That'd be really interesting.
Yeah, see what other people's fears are.
Yeah.
Are most of them around finances? Or are they to do with health, to do with family? There's lots of different ones, aren't there?
To be fair, it'd be interesting to see what other people's fears are, because there might be some things that we've not even thought of.
I don't want to be even more scared.
We don't want to add to the list.
Yeah, we don't want adding to our fears.
Yeah, but it would be quite interesting to think, oh, actually, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, I know. So, now I've got more things I'm scared of.
That would be quite good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't given people things to be scared of.
Oh.
That was Retirement Dreams to Reality, Keely and Bruce. And thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. As soon as we can retire.
What is that?
You would be, I can't remember, 40 what? So there you have
And you teach maths. You teach maths to kids.
How old are you next year?
47.
Okay.
Is he going to come in?
Are you coming in? Cherub!
You used to be able to push it open.
Are you pushing it or not?
Chase!
Come here! What is?
Quite good because we've been doing it together. We've both been learning new skills. I knew he was going to do that.